Hello. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, everyone. Very excited. Um, I have something a little bit serious to talk with you guys about today. In 1972, American astronauts went to the moon. It was the last time we've been on the moon. They took space rocks back home. Yay. But in order to make room for those space rocks, unfortunately, they did leave behind 96 bags of shit on the surface of the moon. We should all be outraged. Although it's very American of them to leave a place shittier than when they left it, especially when they don't own that place. What were we expecting? So right now, like as the moon orbits us, she's just carrying 96 bags of shit vomit. It feels very disrespectful. And I was like, well, I have nothing going on right now. I'm technically a professional freeloader right now. I'm living in my parents' basement, right? So I'm going to make this my number one priority. And I did what any other good activist would do, and I made a change.org petition about it. It's real. It's a thing you can sign today, and it's me begging the current president of the United States and also NASA to send a team into space, land on the moon, pick up the shit, and come home. This is not a fun field trip. We're not stopping and doing anything else. This is a punishment for our crimes to humanity. And I know you're thinking like, okay, Aliya, they go there, they get the shit, they come back. What are we doing with the shit once it's back? Like, that's nasty. Should we give some to the Smithsonian? Sure. I say the first 6 bags we give it to the Smithsonian, right? It's a part of history. We need to keep that. But the other 90 bags, let's just have fun. I say we light a couple of them on fire and we hand them out to the world's biggest enemies, or even just, some of the biggest enemies in the United States. What I'm saying is maybe a flaming bag of shit would have kept Ted Cruz warm in Texas when it froze over. That's all I'm saying. He wouldn't have to if we just did my plan. So yeah, if that's a thing you'd like to sign to be a part of history and also not hurt my feelings, contact me after the show. I'll hook you up. I've been reflecting a lot recently, and I've come to the understanding that Facebook isn't the public diary I thought it was when I was 12. It just isn't. It isn't. And fortunately, I've gotten to grow and learn that instead I should just say nothing on Facebook. It would be a better place if we all just said nothing. And by say nothing, I mean post it to my private Instagram instead, because it's in good hands over there, surely. And I see a lot of people older than me. I'm 22. I see a lot of people older than me still learning this lesson. I watch them overshare on Facebook and they're thinking nothing of it, but I know what that leads to, right? I know that leads to waking up in the morning 10 years later to a Facebook notification reminding you that you have memories today that you don't talk to anymore. And your new circle of living hell is to just doom scroll through every embarrassing thing you've ever admitted to Facebook. And that's embarrassing in its own right, but I feel like it's a little worse in my case because I was a teenager when I said these things. I was brand new to Facebook. Facebook was brand new. It was just me and the other 12-year-olds just in the wild, wild west, poking and tagging each other. Shouldn't have had access to this kind of technology. And one of my memories from the other day was just a really long rant post about how 13-year-old me hadn't seen a worm in a long time. Just like a fucking earthworm. I was so distraught about it. I was like, oh, remember childhood. It was so simple with its worms and its dirt. And now as an elderly teenager, I cannot remember enjoy such as earthworms on a rainy day. And I was like, who gave me the right to be that fake, introspective, philosophical, nonsensical bullshit, arrogant ass? Like, what was I on at 13? Who gave me the right? But the cherry on top of the whole post is that the only person who clicked like on it was my mother. I just said that into the void, and my mom said, "You're doing great. I love it." She's a supportive woman, but perhaps having me was her biggest mistake. That's just my hot take. Another type of post that unfortunately I see too often is me saying something like, "Oh, Hannah's sleeping over tonight. I'm so excited." And then me in the present is like, "Oh my gosh, that's so exciting." And I see that there's a comment on it, and I'm like, "Oh, this is probably Hannah. I wonder if she's sharing like some cool inside joke." I'd love to feel nostalgic about that right now. So I click open the post to read the comment, and it's me replying back to myself. And all I've said is just, "Never mind," with a crying emoji. And why I felt the need to update everyone on how the sleepover was going, I don't understand. But it hurts me more rereading it now than it did having to type that "never mind" as a sad 12-year-old. So I guess like the moral of my story is, if you're oversharing on Facebook today, the person paying for your crimes is just you, but 10 years from now. So enjoy that one. I was spending a lot of time thinking about middle school me and how my life was like then, and it hit me. I was like, "Oh my God, did I peak in middle school? Were these embarrassing times also my glory days? Like, is that how fucked up my life is?" And some of you might not be able to relate, and I wish I could have peaked in high school like you guys. I wish I was that cool. But I was hip to it. I peaked in middle school, and I know that I did for a fact, because in middle school I had 2 boyfriends. And woo! Thank you. And not to brag, but one of them is in jail now. So I have that going for me. And guys, I cannot resist a man in uniform, right? So my plan as of now is to just wait for him to get out on good behavior. Or, whatever they get for manslaughter nowadays. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a professional freeloader in my parents' basement. Dating doesn't get easier from your parents' basement, which is a thing that I think that we all know. I'm just living that life for you. And I don't blame anybody for not wanting to come down to my basement and hang out, right? Like, if you've watched any movie, that's like the main advice is don't go into a stranger's basement. And there's nothing I could pitch to somebody to get them to break that moral boundary and come down here. Like, even if I was just like practicing the other day, because that's what I've got going on. And I was like, "Hey babe, do you want to like come down and we can lay on my bed and listen to my parents getting a divorce upstairs?" It's a small house. We're going to hear them arguing. I just can't subject somebody to starting a new relationship while a divorce blossoms upstairs. I need to see that one play out, and then I need to move out. And you can help me move out by making my change.org petition successful. Everybody sign it. We're getting the shit off the moon. Thank you. I'm Aliya. Have a good night.
Keep it going for Aliya Brown.
Oh, hell yeah. I loved it.
I did too. We